The American Powerboat Association presents the OMC Cobra Series, brought to you by OMC and by Ford and Ford Power Products. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Poyer. Welcome to Dayton, Ohio. It's been a couple of weeks now since the national championships. The pressure is off most of these drivers. It's simply a time to go out and have some fun and enjoy the spirit of competition. Now, this is one of the most popular stops on the circuit for limited hydroplane racing. It's also one of the fastest courses. We have one national champion here in the pits, and Steve Montgomery is with him right now. Steve?
Don, I'm in the Shopsmith 5-liter camp of Ron Bruner and Bo Scheid, and the last time we saw these guys, they were in Miami becoming the 1987 national champions. Bo, are they treating you about the same back home? You get a little more respect now.
Well, they're treating us pretty good. We felt awful good about it. We waited 14 years. We've been fighting to get it, and we went down there and had some good luck, and the boat ran real well, and we came up on top, so we're real pleased.
You got a big, tough field here in Dayton that wants to beat you worse than before. How are you going to handle that?
Yeah, once you're on top, everybody's gunning for you. We got an awful lot of good boats here. In fact, it's like running the Nationals all over again. We had a little bad luck yesterday, but we're going to give it our best foot today.
As always, Don, the Shopsmith camp will be one of the teams to beat here in the 5-liter division.
And Steve, the 5-liter division, just one of the classes we'll see today. Also, the OMC Cobra Series, that's a 2.5 stock. And let's go talk with one of the favorites. Tom Yeager, getting ready for your first run of the day. A little bit different from Miami a few weeks ago.
Yes, it certainly is. Water conditions are quite a bit different. It's a smaller race course, and the competition is very stiff today.
Pressure off with the Nationals over with. This just simply fun.
Yeah. There was a lot of pressure down there, and this one's just for the fun of it.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
We've got lots of racing coming up here in Dayton, Ohio. Stay with us. Don Poyer with Steve Montgomery. First running of the OMC Cobras, the 2.5 stock. Had an accident. Bob Hawkins' boat destroyed, but he's okay. We'll have to have a rerunning, but first, we'll have the second flight go out. Bob, what's it like when you go out one time and then you come back and have to wait, let another heat go, you sit here, get more nervous?
No, just frustrating. A little frustrating.
You going to stay here? Aren't you worried about water getting into the boat?
No, I'm going to sleep a little while.
Maybe a suntan?
A little bit.
Nothing like an Ohio suntan.
You got it. It's pleasant.
So the second flight of the OMC Cobra Series will go out. We'll have a rerunning of the first flight. Right now, these boats, powered by these 4-cylinder Fords, heading out. There's James Jackson out of Michigan. Some of the drivers to watch. Here's a newcomer, at least to the East Coast, Dutch Squires from Colorado. And Jack Fellauer from nearby Weston, Ohio, Mr. Yellow. So it's time for our first competition of the day, the OMC Cobra Series, the 2.5 stocks, full 12-boat field, and here they come down for the start, including the man nearest to the camera. That's Dutch Squires out of Denver. Good start, Steve.
Kind of a ragged start as far as getting lined up, Don. We had boats all over the lake here. Dutch Squires kind of an unknown quantity at this point. Down from the Denver area, looks good so far.
He hasn't gone against any of the Eastern drivers. He was not at the national championships, and right now he's coming up knocking on the door, going against James Jackson out of the Michigan, state of Michigan, or Detroit area. And look at this. We've got a nice battle going between these two down the back chute here in Dayton, Ohio.
They're leaving behind a boat that's been dominant in the races we've seen so far. It's on the outside right there. It's Gary LaFrance in the Canadian boat, and he was our winner at Steubenville in this class.
That was the CS-38. As you see these two boats, canard wings or a front wing on the boat on the left, Dutch Squires' boat. I don't know if that is adjustable as he races, but that is something we're seeing more and more of in the limited ranks as they come down the front straightaway for the first time on a 1.25-mile course.
You can see James Jackson looking over there going, who is this guy? Really not known very well in this area at least, but obviously, Don, a contender. That's our friend Jack Fellauer running third. Here's your leader again on the outside, just by a half a boat length. And that's down from the Denver area. Dutch Squires, look at him bounce, Don.
I was just going to say they're both starting to air it out a little bit more on the second lap as they go into the first turn. James Jackson, we saw him at Toledo, Ohio. Very aggressive driver. Got penalized one time for cutting off one of the drivers for the start of that heat, but he is outstanding, and you can see it right now. It's like you said, Steve. It's probably an Eastern driver saying, who is this cowboy from the West?
Running third, that's Gary LaFrance and Eric Carruthers' boat. He's usually out front, and right now it's James Jackson, the white boat on the inside, using that shorter way around the lake to an advantage. He has about a half a boat length lead, at least temporarily.
Normally, when you don't have the horsepower that the boat on the outside does, you can use that hip and push the gentleman to the outside. That's what Jackson is trying to do right now. James Jackson holding on to the inside position. He knows he probably has a faster boat on the outside in Dutch Squires. Third place again, Gary LaFrance. There's Jack Fellhauer out of Weston, Ohio in fourth place. There is a beautiful shot. Dutch Squires and James Jackson going into the first turn for the final time, and it's still a dead heat with Jackson with a somewhat of a lead going into that turn, Steve.
I'll tell you one thing about Dutch Squires, the man can drive. When you watch him come out of a turn, normally a driver gives the boat on the inside a little bit of room, and Dutch is staying right there, keeping the outside radius as small as possible. Tremendous job of driving.
And he is starting to move away from Jackson. Still in third place is LaFrance. First place, Dutch Squires again out of Denver. Beautiful Jones Hole, Ron Jones Hole out of Seattle, Washington. Again with the wings out in front, and he is starting to pick it up and move away from the pack as he comes down the straightaway for the final time. In first place, Dutch Squires.
Beautiful job. This guy is obviously going to be a factor all day, Don.
Squires will take 400 points. Second place, Jackson. If that's any indication of our day ahead, it'll be a good one. Squires first, Jackson, then LaFrance, and Jack Fellhauer. Down to the pits with Steve.
Dutch Squires made the long trip all the way from Lakewood, Colorado, and you decided to make it worthwhile. These guys didn't know a lot about you. They hadn't seen you this year, but you handled half the field just fine. Boat's handling well.
Well, we're real pleased. That's why we came to Dayton. We wanted to come run against a good East Coast competition, and they're here.
The question here is, why didn't we see you at the Nationals in Miami then, if you can go this far?
Well, we can go that far, but it's a long ways from Colorado, about 40-hour drive.
You bet.
And fortunately, we found a little problem with our engine. That last race at home, we picked up 4 or 5 miles an hour. So
you're in the final heat. We'll see you later this afternoon. Good luck.
Thank you.
Dutch Squires all the way from Lakewood, Colorado, just outside of Denver, Don.
More OMC Cobra Racing, the modifieds 5 and 6 liter, coming up after this. Back to the Hydro Bowl here in Dayton, Ohio. The restart of heat number 1 for the 2.5 stocks. That's the OMC Cobra Series is on deck. A lot of veterans in this heat, including the third-place finisher in the Nationals in Miami a couple of weeks ago, Alan Oslin. Also, the champion a year ago, that being Tom Yeager out of Minnesota. This heat presents a number of good drivers. Alan Oslin, Tom Yeager, the national champion back in 1986. Here comes the field. They were very early, but now they're going to be right on the button. Here they go. In our second OMC Cobra race, it looks like it'll be Tom Yeager with the lead going into the first turn, Steve.
Tom Yeager made a great start right in the middle of the field. That's the red boat. But watch the blue and white boat. Alan Osland is in excellent position. There you see the right side of your screen. And Alan is the first guy to turn left. He's a very experienced driver. Good boat. And when he gets out in front, Don, he's hard to catch.
Now, the man on his inside hip in the yellow boat, the S32, that is Mark Tate, an outstanding driver as well. Drives the 5-liter, the 6-liter, 7-liter, GPs, you name it. And he is on the inside of Alan Oslin, who's out of the state of Michigan. We saw him in the national championship where he picked up third. Jerry Scheidt on the outside. What a crowd in second, third, and fourth places as they go into the second turn here on the Hydro Bowl. 1.25 mile course with Alan Oslin in first place.
Alan Oslin getting a good ride out of that boat, and he is a very good driver. And right there is Jerry Scheidt. And, Don, this is his return to hydroplanes. He was injured in a race last year. He's been driving in the Cobra Flat Bottom Series. This is his first time back in a hydroplane, but he's a very good driver.
Good to have him back behind the wheel on a 3-point boat. And as you see, Alan Oslin is not looking back. Again, he got a third place down in Miami in both heats and the final. And really drove quite well against some great people. You got to wonder, Jim Ruark is not here, the man out of Salisbury, Maryland, who won the national championship. Love to see him going against Oslin and Dutch Squires, who we met in the earlier heat, Steve.
Well, this is tremendous competition. You mentioned Mark Tate, who is one of the better drivers in the field. He's running fourth right now. Well, to give you some idea how tough the competition is. That's your leader, Alan Oslin, quite often one of the front runners. Right behind him in the spray, you got a peek at Jerry Scheidt. There he comes. And Jerry obviously feeling pretty good. His first time back in racing.
Alan Alan Oslin, one of the more intense drivers that you will see, as you saw Richard Harris in third place in the yellow and black boat. But Oslin, one of the more intense drivers, always wants to go for lane number one, getting mentally prepared, very, very intense as he prepares to go out for each heat.
It was interesting watching the start because Mark Tate wanted it very badly. That man right there doing a good job. In third place, a bit of a surprise, Richard Harris, and he's keeping Mark Tate behind him. Mark wanted the inside so bad, he was going very slowly at the start, and I think it's costing him right now. He hasn't been able to make up what he lost.
On the other hand, you've got Oslin, who is walking away from the field. Jerry Scheid again competing, holding on to second place. Third place, Richard Harris, going around for the final time here in Dayton. This is one of the most popular race courses in America. Not only is it good water, but it is centrally located in the United States. You have boats from Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all over the central part of the U.S., as well as back east and some from out west, as we see Dutch Squires in the earlier heat. But here comes your leader, and it looks like he's going to be the winner in our second OMC Cobra Elimination Heat. Alan Oslin out of Michigan, the young man coming up with 400 points.
Second place and a good job of driving. That man right there, Jerry Scheid, back in racing.
And third place, Richard Harris. So the pride of Westland, Michigan, Alan Oslin with 400 points, then to Jerry Scheid, Richard Harris, and Mark Tate. Down to the pits.
Last time we saw Alan Oslin, he was playing catch-up in Miami. 2 third places in the Nationals. Did you change something on the boat?
Well, I just think this Ford motor running here is getting broke in. She's really running great out there.
You're in the finals. You know you can win with at least half the field. Anybody in the other half you're worried about?
Yeah, Dutch Squires.
Looked real fast, didn't he?
Yeah, he looks bad. I'd like to see the times and compare them.
We'll look forward to you two hooking up. Winner this time out, though, Alan Oslin.
A popular place for boat racing, and Dayton is also the home of aviation. Good example of that, the Air Force Museum, just 5 miles away from our race course. This is Allison Higgins, the only female driver competing today. She'll be in the stocks and the modifieds, and that's what's coming up, the modifieds, including the Coors Light Silver Bullet.
Here's a team that was put together during our ESPN coverage of the Steubenville Regatta when Bill Whitehouse turned the steering wheel over to Bob Newman. And Bill, apparently you're going to leave it that way, at least for now.
For now, yeah. And
until he loses one.
yeah, all right. So far, he's been doing a great job, so we're not going to worry about making any changes at this point.
Bob, you like this boat?
I love it. Really nice.
You got some competition today, some guys you know something about. Who do you have to beat?
Well, we have to beat 98 Moeller. We have to beat Doug Felser, of course, and, of course, in cahoots with Michael Ambrosia driving today.
It's the sponsor's boat, Don, the Coors Light Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
These are 6-cylinder engines, by the way, not the 4-cylinder Fords that we saw in the Cobra series, which is 2.5 stock. A little bit more horsepower, a little more speed as we see the team gear up. And all the drivers heading out full field, and this should be quite interesting to say the least. This is one of the most competitive fields and classes in all of boat racing as Bob Newman heads out onto the course. Here we go. This is one of our smaller fields, this being in the 2.5 modifieds, heat number 1. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats, including Allison Higgins, who is now racing in the modifieds after we saw her in the stock, Steve. So here they come.
Bob Zerwinski living up to his word and giving Allison a ride in a little faster boat. That's an old friend, Mike Moeller, on the inside, making a good start. The boat on the outside is Bob Newman and Bill Whitehouse's Coors Light Silver Bullet.
Bob Newman on the way outside as Moeller is right where he'd like to be. That's kissing the buoys in lane number 1. But look at this, a lot of boat speed for Newman as he goes in Whitehouse's boat going around the first turn. Moving back, that's Hugh Long in the A11. Let's watch Moeller, though. An outstanding start for Mike Moeller. He has V8 as one of his sponsors. They're getting involved in boat racing now, and right now, Bob Newman is behind the rooster tail of Mike Moeller in the V8.
Mike Moeller is a good driver with a very good boat. He has had some mechanical problems in our previous telecasts. The times he's held it together, he's done fairly well. And Mike right now is out in front of Bob Newman in a boat that we know can win, and that's Bill Whitehouse's Coors Light Silver Bullet.
And there it is right there, Bob Newman. He got his first ride in Steubenville. We talked about that a minute ago. Steve did, along with owner Bill Whitehouse. They've become quite a team, as you heard, and a lot of fun to be around. Very competitive. The former fighter pilot for the Marines, Bob Newman, right now giving chase to Mike Moeller, who's got the lead. And that's a bit of a surprise because there's no question that Whitehouse probably has the most horsepower, the most power alone in this particular heat. He'll have Doug Felser to deal with in the finals. He'll be in the second heat.
That boat right there is Hugh Long Jr., by the way, not the 60-year-old we've shown you previously. Hugh Jr. is about 25. The three Longs, two sons and a dad, have two boats here and do a lot really to contribute to the sport. They make all the stops, at least in this area. Very colorful family in boat racing. Hugh Jr. and Steve Long.
They could almost fill up a field. Bob Newman looks like he may settle for second place as he's going down the back chute again. One of the Long family, Hugh Jr. in this case. Moeller still holding on to first place, trying to get into the final. We'll have a full field of 10 boats in the final heat. So of these 5, everyone should make it into the final. We have 6 boats in the second elimination heat. Just got to finish in this heat, and you can go on to the final.
The first time we saw Bob Newman in this boat, he took it a little bit easy, but he hasn't since. He's running very hard right now. He has not conceded anything, and if Mike Moeller should miss a beat, Bob Newman's going to be right there to go by him. Here comes Bob. Very, very good driver in a good, fast boat.
It's like the old saying A.J. Foy used to say, or Bill Muncy when he was a driver in the boat, you got to push your competition. If they're ahead of you, and if they break, boom, you're right there in the first lane and in spot number 1. But again, in the V8 juice, that being Mike Moeller coming around the turn, and there goes Newman. Oh, big lead now for Moeller as he spreads it out at better than 2 rooster tails. But look, he's slowing down.
Mike Moeller is slowing down, Don. There he goes. It's happened again. This is a heartbreak story, and Bob Newman gives him a wave as he goes by. Says, glad to be a head guy, but I wish it had been straight competition. Here again is Hugh Long, comfortably running in 3rd place.
We've only got 2 boats running out of the 5 now. We said earlier that if all 5 finished, they'd make it to the finals, but no. 3 are down. Allison Higgins, Mike Moeller, and Mike Cashin in the A8. So here's your winner, Bob Newman for Bill Whitehouse in the Coors Light Silver Bullet, and 2nd place will go to Hugh Long in the A11. So here's how the points go. Bob Newman again getting all 400, but 3 DNFs. Let's go down to the pits.
Bob Newman, winner your first time out, but you did have some competition from Mike Moeller. He can run with you, can't he?
Yeah, he had the inside, and he just got me at the start, and then I just couldn't get around him because I couldn't get to the inside. If we'd have had the inside, we could have won.
First place isn't bad, though, any way you get it.
Yes.
See you in the final.
Thank you.
And waiting for him in the next heats, the man who owns the 1.25 mile course record here, defending our former national champion, Doug Felster. We'll be back in a minute. Vegetables, you can drink them because 2 glasses of V8 provide 90% of the vitamins A and C you need each day. Welcome back to Dayton, and you are looking at one of the fastest modified 2.5-liter boats around. In fact, Doug Felster, you own the national record, 1.25 miles here on this course. You like it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. It's a real good course.
Got some long straightaways here, it appears to me. Is that true, or maybe not?
Well, they shortened it up this year. We used to run on 1 mile and 2/3 here, but they shortened it up to 1 1/4, so it's not quite as bad. In the past, it's been real long, though, and real fast.
You had some frustrations in Miami. Is it good to have it behind you?
Oh, yeah. It's really upsetting, jumping the gun to begin with, and then in the second heat, we were, way in the lead, and then the ignition took a hit on us and then died out.
Well, that's racing, and they always say there's always next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Have fun today.
Okay, thank you.
Some of Felster's competition include Bill Morrison. Drives a 4-cylinder Ford, drives those 6-cylinder guys crazy. Also, Hank Lauterbach driving the conventional style boat called something special. 6 boats going into this second elimination heat for the 2.5 modifieds, and streaking across the picture, that is Bill Morrison out of Kentucky. He's got a 4-cylinder, Stephen. Look at him. He's running away from the field right at the start.
Bill Morrison time to start way down the beach. The rest of the boats jumped on the inside, and he took the wide line all to himself. Look at that attitude. The boat is not touching the water. You don't see that very often. That is an attitude. And coming up very quickly on the outside, John DeVos will take a look at the inside here and see who the competition is. Coming around the turn, Bill Morrison again with a great start going down the back chute. It may be in cahoots. That's the boat on the outside. Yes, it is. And he may have overtaken that 4-cylinder Ford, but boy, how do you race with these modified boats? He's doing a great job, that being Bill Morrison. Here comes Doug Felster up on the inside. That is one of the better boats. It has a course record here on a 1.25 mile course in Dayton, and he is one of the fastest around. Let's face it, even though he had a hard luck Sunday in Miami, as you know, Steve, in the championships. Bill Morrison had a tremendous lead the first quarter of a lap. Doug Felster on the inside made that up and then some. It may be that Morrison's boat is not handling or running just right. He might have some problems.
Yeah, we got a good look at the driver in cahoots. I don't think that's John DeVos. We'll have to wait and see.
That's the crew chief. And you're right, John DeVos. Now the boat's slowing down. A tremendous job. And he's going to lose it mechanically. The leader is right there. It's Doug Felster now moving into first place.
Another Michigan driver, Doug Felster, now gets the lead. Bill Morrison in the Ford four-banger doing a great job holding on to second place. We have a total of 3 boats running right now. Look how hard, Steve, that Doug Felster is driving into the turn, hanging it on that skid fin, really going hard.
Hooks it up. You know, it's not like driving an Indy car where you know you have traction. It can skip out any time, and these guys really do put it on the line. Bill Morrison, I don't think, is running at quite 100%. He made a tremendous start. Great shot of Felster coming at you. Right behind him, you'll see Morrison. Morrison about 6'4", and he makes that little boat look even littler, Don. Here's Doug Felster, your leader right now.
We have 3 boats running now out of 6. This is the third-place boat. Hank Lauterbach, that's Larry Lauterbach's brother, has just taken up racing in the past year again, been around racing for years. But in first place, Doug Felster, going around the first turn for the last time. There's a good perspective of the second place over third place, Bill Morrison against Hank Lauterbach.
Hank Lauterbach's mother sent word to me that Henry is her husband, his father. Hank is actually a Henry Jr., and the father, Henry Lauterbach, one of the legendary hydroplane designers and builders. But this is Hank, not Henry.
And that is Doug Felster running away from everybody as you see Bill Morrison now holding on to second place, going down the back chute, and Hank Lauterbach. In a conventional style, that's a typical Lauterbach boat with the drop sponsons. They are fast, especially when it comes to chute speed.
Another interesting thing about this Lauterbach is he was the last member of the family to go racing. The father, of course, a legend. His brother Larry, one of the top drivers in America. And I believe Hank is in about his second year. He was on in years a bit when he decided to go boat racing.
Here comes our first place and our winner, that being Doug Felster. Second place, look who has come up and gone past Bill Morrison. Hank Lauterbach. His brother Larry will drive the Cellular One Unlimited hydroplane in the Gold Cup. There you go, second place, Lauterbach, and third goes to Bill Morrison. Good racing in the modifieds. Felster gets the victory, though. Lauterbach and then Morrison. Let's go down to the pits now and talk to the winner.
Doug Felster moving from boat to boat. If you have as good luck as you did just now, you'll have 2 wins in a row. How'd that one feel?
Real good. It was kind of easy when John broke. You know, I was late on the start, and he got an excellent start. I was about 3 seconds late, so I had to chase him down.
What kind of a mental adjustment do you have to make now when you change boats?
Well, the boats are pretty similar as far as design-wise. Now, they're both wide boats, and they're both fast accelerating boats. It's just a little bit slower, but not really too much. You really don't notice it.
Good luck again.
Thank you.
Again, some of the incredible sights at the Air Force Museum just down the road from here. We'll be right back. A lazy day in Dayton, Ohio. By the way, driving the boat in cahoots in that last modified race was Michael Ambrosia for driver John DeVos. We'd like to take a minute right now to tell you about the OMC Grand Prix Cobra class. This is for beginners. If you'd like to join the family of boat racing, they're flat-bottom boats with OMC Ford engines and outdrives. You get up to speeds of about 60 miles per hour. A great way to enter the world of boat racing. For more information, call the American Powerboat Association in Detroit at 313-773-9700. Now back to the racing in Dayton. Alan, you got a first last time out now. What's changed since the last time you were racing out here?
Competition's grown. Going up against Dutch Squire here, winning his heat. And hopefully my Ford motor run better than his Ford.
Pick a lane.
Lane 1.
Jack Fellhauer, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your day so far?
About a 10, I'm afraid.
On the wrong end.
I guess. I got new battery in here from the first heat, a new starter motor in here from the first heat, a new gas tank in here for the first heat. My heart's going 700 miles an hour, and I don't even know if it's going to start when I push the button.
Same yellow shoes.
Same yellow shoes. I got a little dirty. I think they're kind of toned them down a little.
Well, I guess he's just going to have to wash them off. That's all there is to it. Jack Fellhauer. Here are some of the people to watch in the final. Winner of the first heat, Alan Oslin in the S-52. And from Colorado he came, the winner of the second heat, Dutch Squires. So as they say in a riverboat, money's on the table, and we got a full field of 12 boats, and they're all about an hour and a half early for the start. Look at this. They're out there trolling, Steve.
Watch the blue and white boat in lane 2. Right now you can just see his rooster tail. That's Alan Ostland. He's in trouble. Tom Yeager and Mark Tate have got him pinched a little. He's going to have to drop back, and the guy that won the last time out is going to get a bad start.
And Jack Fellauer, nearest to the camera, screaming by on the way outside. There he is in the S-105. The Excedrin boat, as he calls it. And they go into the first turn. On the right of your screen is Dutch Squires, the winner in preliminary heat number 1 out of Colorado.
Alan Ostland, as we mentioned, the blue and white boat, won the last time out. He's way back now. Dutch Squires is out in the lead. Right there, the beautiful new red and yellow Jones hull out of Seattle. Well, here he is again, the guy nobody knew and doing very well. That is Tom Yeager, who now is running more like the defending national champion that he was going into Miami.
Dutch Squires going into the second turn for the first time now in the final heat. Again, he is out of Lakewood, Colorado, an area near Denver. And in second place right now, Jerry Scheidt out of Dayton, Ohio in Wonderful Sensation. As they come down, nice battle going on now. Yeager on the inside, and on the outside you see the Carruthers boat, I believe, in third place, taking in second place now, and that'd be Gary LaFrance.
Gary LaFrance is driving that Eric Carruthers boat that has been fast every time we've seen it this year. No one has led him the way Dutch Squires has today, though that boat right there appears to be unbeatable if he can hold it together. Great racing going on right now back in second, third, and fourth place.
Dutch drove all the way out here from Colorado. He said he wanted to go against the best, so he decided to come to one of the most popular races of the year, that being Dayton, Ohio, and the best drivers he could find, that being here in Dayton, Ohio, because again, it's so centrally located, the hot boats coming in here every year to race, and my goodness, he's running away from everybody, including Gary LaFrance in the Carruthers boat out of Canada in the CS-38. There's Dutch.
You see how ideal the conditions here in Dayton are, Don. This lake was constructed for boat racing. It's a tremendous facility. Even bad weather, which we don't have today, doesn't bother this water. And if every community in America would just build one of these, we'd have great boat racing everywhere.
Dutch Squires on a joyride on this Sunday afternoon as he runs away. You see the numbers 83 on it. And again, the CS-38, meaning a Canadian stock boat, as Gary LaFrance drives that for owner Eric Carruthers.
That's Jerry Scheidt chasing Tom Yeager. We mentioned earlier, Jerry in an accident about a year ago, fully recovered now. His first day back in Hydroplanes, his second heat, and obviously feeling pretty good.
The field beginning to spread out. I'm surprised you don't see this very often in the OMC Cobra Series. They have been bunched up all year. Some tremendous racing down in Miami, especially for second, third, and fourth places. Jim Ruark was incredible as the winner. But in the meantime, great battles going on back in the field. Dutch looking to the left, seeing if there's anybody out there.
Dutch Squires doing a great job. These guys will remember him after that. Look at this race for third and fourth. That's Tom Yeager on the inside, and Jerry Scheidt, the driver we talked about, getting back and racing on the outside.
Dutch Squires, a cakewalk for the championship here in Dayton. Second place, Gary LaFrance. In Carruthers, both the CS-38. And this for third and fourth. Look at the race. They're pointing at each other, and Scheidt will get it over Tom Yeager. And we've just gotten word from the tower. Gary LaFrance has been disqualified. Their engine not meeting restrictions for this particular class, so they are out. But the winner, Dutch Squires with 800 points. Down to the pits.
Well, the long drive back to Denver isn't going to seem quite as long, huh?
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun all the way back.
You talk on some of the best America has to offer right here and showed them your transom the whole weekend. Easy, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't easy. There's a lot of tough competition here, but that's why we came. We had a great weekend. Great weekend.
We're going to see you doing a little more traveling now?
Well, we've been doing a lot of traveling. It just hadn't been to these particular races, but we usually travel 3 or 4 weeks every summer.
You took home the big trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're thrilled. Really thrilled.
This is the boat that finished third but has now been scratched. An engine discrepancy. Referee, you can see on the left, making the ruling. Now to the 2.5 mods. Bob Newman, I know you've got a gentleman that you're concerned about, mainly Mr. Felster down there in boat number 77, I would imagine.
I got a lot to concern myself about him. No matter where I put him, I think he's got lots more horsepower than we do. But if we get a good start, we got a chance.
Hopefully get on the inside and push him out a little, eh?
That's where I'm going to be.
Good luck. You know, those OX fighter pilots, you need all the juice you can get.
Yes, for sure.
Don, this is Bruce Monroe, and Bruce is with Turbo Blue, the racing fuel we've talked about so much this year. We get a chance to ask him exactly what it is. Basically, it's a gasoline with some additions, right?
Yes, it is gasoline. It's 115 octane with a very low vapor pressure and a real narrow distillation. And it's just made for racing, whether it be automobiles or motorcycles or boats. I just came back from Bonneville Salt Flats, which is kind of a different environment than this. Here I am at the water, and before I was out in the desert. So we cover all types of racing, from off-road racing to the type of things that go on up in Mid-Ohio to on the water here. So.
Your company has made a big contribution to boat racing, and we really appreciate it, Bruce. Good to have you with us.
Well, thank you, and I'm enjoying this weekend a lot.
Back to you, Don.
I'd like to throw my thanks into Bruce Monroe and Turbo Blue as well. Now for the 2.5 modified final. One of the preliminary winners, Doug Felster out of Michigan. And Bob Newman, who we just talked with in the Coors Light Silver Bullet. Here's the rundown for our final 2.5 modified race. These 6-cylinder engine-powered boats, they will put on some kind of a show, as we have seen throughout the summer of 1987. They come around the setup, and it's away on the right side of your screen. That is Hugh Long in the A11. That may be Steve Long. Sometimes they'll flip-flop as far as driving. And there goes Hank Lauterbach out of nowhere. He is legal. A great start for Lauterbach.
Look at that boat go. Hank Lauterbach has been telling us all day that he has not been good mechanically, and that if he ever got this boat together, it would take off. I have never seen it run better than this. First boat to turn left is Hank Lauterbach. That's Bill Morrison coming by on the outside. I don't think Bill is running just right.
On the inside is Doug Felster. Now, he's the man that has the record on this course at 1.25 miles. He is giving chase to that gentleman right there out of the state of Virginia, Hank Lauterbach, in only his first year of racing. For third and fourth, Morrison on the outside, Bob Newman on the inside, driving for Bill Whitehouse in the Coors Light Silver Bullet. Look at Felster moving up on the inside, Steve, going into the second turn.
That cab-over design normally has a little bit of an advantage in corners, but Hank Lauterbach is staying right with him on the outside. Look at this boat race. I have never seen Hank Lauterbach run like this. That thing is a rocket right now. Felster, trying to catch him, has a little advantage on the inside.
Lauterbach told me prior, in the break part of this race, that he says, hey, nobody's passed me all day. I've just been braking. So right now, he has proven the point, but he's got Felster on the inside, and he is one of the best. Let's face it, looks like he may have somewhat of a lead right now. He's got all the advantage, Steve, inside position and great speed. It's that simple, and a great boat.
You know, Hank Lauterbach has a disadvantage because of his name. It's a legendary name in boat racing. He hasn't been doing this very long. He's practically a rookie, and look at him go. First place right now.
That boat right there, Doug Felster out of Michigan, was built, designed by Tom DeEath, one of the great unlimited drivers, limited and car drivers, car racers. But right now, it's all Hank Lauterbach, as he is putting on an incredible show, making Larry's brothers got to be proud. Henry, the father, and mother, they all got to be happy at this gentleman right here coming down the main straightaway in first place.
Every time you're at a race and you see one of those boats, there are a couple old-timers in the pit saying that's the way a hydroplane should look. The driver sitting behind the engine. The Lauterbachs will tell you they're going to build some cab-overs, but only for cosmetic reasons. They don't really think they're any better.
The boat is called Something Special, that being Hank Lauterbach's boat right here, and I guess that's appropriate for this heat because that start that he put on the rest of the field was indeed something special, as Felster now is dropping back, better than 2 rooster tail lead for Lauterbach going down the back straightaway. There's Felster in second place.
And that's Bob Newman running in third place in the Coors Light Silver Bullet. Hank Lauterbach now has put more than a rooster tail on Doug Felster, and you could have got tremendous odds that this would ever happen. It's hard to believe that he's leaving Felster like this.
Well, this is living evidence, Steve, that if you get a great start, incredible things can happen in a heat. And this gentleman has done it. Hank Lauterbach, winner today of the final of the 2.5 modifieds. And again, here comes Doug Felster. He's going to get beat out. Looks like Bobby Newman's coming up on the inside. The Coors Light Silver Bullet overtaking Felster for the finish. Yeah, Newman gets second, Felster third. So it'll go into the record books like this. Hank Lauterbach, what a show, 700. Overall, he wins because of his elapsed time being faster than Bob Newman. And right on down the results for the rest of the day. To the pits.
Hank Lauterbach, you said earlier that nobody had passed you all day. That's still the case, but you really ran well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Everything worked good. The boat ran great, and I'm just getting used to it.
You knew you could get those guys all day if things would hold together, huh?
I knew if the boat would run. It's just that I had to get used to driving the boat and change the fin, change the wheel, and I just wanted to leave everything alone so I'd stay by myself all week till I made sure I was used to the boat, you know.
You get any advice from your dad or your brother?
Yeah, but it's always the wrong advice. No, they help anytime I can.
Congratulations.
They can't beat two of the best in the country. If you listen to any half of what they say, it's got to be right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bob, you got him right at the line, I understand.
Yeah, we just got him at the line. I looked down, I had about 6 inches of water in the cockpit with me.
What happened, a hole in the sponson?
No, we put a freeze plug came out because the water was very hot, so I knew it had something to do with the engine. So that was why we just couldn't get any RPM. We had probably about an extra 600 pounds of water in there.
Well, if nothing else, if it's hot water, that makes you want to finish that heat even sooner.
Yes, that's why I came in very quickly.
And right now they're going to pour that hot water out of that boat, and I would imagine Mr. Newman is trying to cool off. Back in a minute with a 5-liter. Now we got the big boys coming up, the 5-liter and a man to beat. Here's Mark Tate. Mark, somewhat like Miami, it looks like Bo Scheid is the man to beat in terms of equipment, driving.
Bo's definitely got their boat running good this Shop Smith. We're hoping we get a little better start with them. I think we can run with them. We had some motor problems down in Miami. We got them ironed out, but can't beat them starting behind them.
Okay, good luck out there.
Thank you.
So as the boats head out, let's take a look at some of the people that will be tough to beat. And this is the man Mark was talking about, the new national champion in the 5-liter, hometown boy from Dayton. And Mark Tate. Look for him, a great competitor and good driver, going after Bo. Here is the field now for our 5-liter final after 2 preliminary heats. This is the field, and here they come now. And I know that Bo Scheid is one of the tough boats to beat. Also, Mark Tate. Where is Mark Tate, Steve? Looks like he's way outside. There he goes, nearest the camera. Mark Tate with an excellent start, but he's on a way outside.
Mark Tate made a great start. He went clear down the beach line, made a flying start, timed it perfectly. He's ahead of Bo Scheid now for the first time in several weeks, but he's way outside. And we'll watch for Bo on the inside. He should have an advantage. There comes the red boat.
And that being the Dayton, Ohio native, Bo Scheid, moving up on the inside in second place, just to the right of the screen here. But the leader, Mark Tate, out of the state of Michigan, going down to backshoot his wife, Sandy, a great driver in her own right, watching on the shores right now as Mark is in first place. And he said, you got to be ahead of everybody, including Mr. Scheid, at the start in order to win, because Bo is so strong. He's in lane number 1, in second place as the rest of the field comes by.
Uncharacteristic for the Shop Smith team to be running second, especially right here on their home lake, Don. This will be interesting because if anybody can catch Mark Tate, we know Bo Scheid can. There's Don Cameron running in third place now. He's taken over third. Look at that field battling for 5th and 6th back there.
4 abreast. 4 boats all together, and on the outside was Don Cameron, who is holding on, trying to get into third place at this time. This is a Ron Jones hull built back in Seattle, one of the newer hulls. You'll see the hump along the cowling. It means more air going over the top of the deck as opposed to the older styles. But as you see now, in second place, there he is, the boat that was built by himself and Ron Bruner, is Bo Scheid and the Shop Smith boat. Shop Smith getting involved as far as helping put this race on, and our thanks to them. Here's Mark Tate, Steve.
Shop Smith has a big, beautiful plant here we saw when we came into town. Mark Tate is holding on to first place. A bit of a surprise. No one has run ahead of Bo Scheid on any of our telecasts the last 2 months, and Bo is losing ground to the leader right now.
Bo, the defending national champion. He just won it a few weeks ago down in Miami. Right now in second place, he had steering problems down in Miami. Somehow got it fixed in time for the final heat and won it all. But right now, Mark Tate looking over the inside shoulder, trying to find Mr. Scheid. He knows it's an incredible boat, and Bo's a fine driver. But in the meantime, Mark in first place.
Mark Tate, certainly one of America's premier hydroplane racers, and he's been frustrated in this division. This Shop Smith boat has run ahead of him the last 2 months, and right now he is determined. His head is bowed over the steering wheel, a tremendous start, and right now it's paying off, Don. He's ahead of the national champion.
You saw Don Cameron there without a cowling over the engine, the blue and white and dark blue boat in third place. Bo Scheid right there, second place. Nice perspective shot to show you how big the lead is. And third place now, Don Cameron around the outside.
Beautiful ride in this boat. It's a Louisiana boat. Mark Tate's driven it at least all of this season. This is by far his best performance, and Bo Scheid right there is not used to being in second place.
Like the other classes, they're going 4 laps. 4 laps here in the final and the preliminary heats. So Bo has about that much time, another lap or so, to catch Mark Tate, who right now is in first place. And there again, across the infield, you see down the back chute, the man trying to win at home. He's always had a tough time being victorious here in Dayton in the past.
Great competition here in the 5 liters, Don. We still have the whole field in less than about a half the race course. And remember, we are seeing straightaway speeds here of over 120 miles per hour.
The big thing, too, is overall speed. If they finish as they do now, Tate would finish with 700 points for the day. Likewise for Bo Scheid. It'll be overall speed to see who is the winner overall for the day. But in the meantime, winner of this heat, Mark Tate, number 1. Second place, Bo Scheid. And as we look at the numbers for the day, yes, indeed, they tie at 700. But Bo gets the overall victory for the day because he had the fastest average speed. So Tate wins the battle, Scheid wins the war. Let's go down to the pits.
Mark Tate told us if he could ever get ahead of Bo Scheid, he thought he could stay there, and you did it at the start.
Yeah, I definitely got a good start on the outside. I had a flying start and really hit the clock good and got down to the first turn, come out of the first turn in real good shape. We're really pleased.
All day long, the field has been slow on the inside, so you decided to stay out of there.
Yeah, I tried on the inside in elimination heat and kind of got up there a little too early and till a little too late. And so the outside, I just said I want the clean water and go out there and stay clean.
Beautiful start. Congratulations on the win and good going.
Thank you very much. We're really happy.
Incidentally, we'd like to tip our hat to Shopsmith. Their corporate headquarters are here in Dayton, and they had a lot to do with putting on the race here in the Hydro Bowl. Thanks so much to them. We'll be back in just a moment.
A tradition of horsepower. Budweiser and the king of beers. A tradition of horsepower that's making waves. Racing fans, this Bud's for you.
Whenever the Runaway Entertainment production team is in Dayton, it stays at the Radisson Inn, conveniently located near the freeway between downtown and the airport. We've got just enough time for one more final heat today, and that is the 6 liter. They are the biggest of them all racing today. Grayson Jones, the national champion, newly crowned out in Miami, is in this heat, and his toughest competitor, Einar Glacius, in the F-60 boat. Let's watch. In our final heat of the day on this particular show, the 6 liter, the most horsepower, the fastest speeds, especially in the straightaway. And we have a 6-boat field, including the newly crowned national champion, Grayson Jones, in the F-16 Heartbreaker. Here we go with the start. Ed Leffingwell in Foxy Lady in the F-83 on the way outside with a good start, but he's got a lot of ground to cover. Here he comes, Steve.
Ed made a super start. He wired it, but he has boats inside of him who will have an advantage coming through the turn. Watch for a red boat. That's Einar Glacius, one of the hot shots. And the white boat running in lane 2. That's your new national champion, Grayson Jones, and that boat handles beautifully.
Watch these two. They are outstanding boats. We saw both of them. In fact, we saw Glacius perform very well in Toledo, Ohio, the choppy waters of the Maumee River, and there the two go.
Grayson Jones on the inside has here the same advantage he showed us in Miami. His boat handles beautifully. Now you watch Glacius on the outside in the red boat, plenty of horsepower, but Grayson Jones' boat runs like an Indy car. Looks like it's on rails, and he has the inside.
Einar Glacius working hard on his skid fin prior to coming up for this race. He knew he had to get it adjusted and in better condition, or better position at least, to handle this boat, to get into the turns and to keep up with Grayson Jones, and he's doing a great job of it right now with a slight lead here on the second lap, Steve.
Einar having the same problem Ken Muscatel had in Miami, trying to catch Grayson Jones. He flies the boat quicker than Grayson does. Grayson just sits right on the water and goes fast. Right now, a great 2-boat race. That's Einar Glacius on the outside in the red boat, the new national champion, Grayson Jones. A beautiful shot here, coming up on him on the inside.
But look at the air. You watch the air getting under the red boat of Einar Glacius there, right there as he comes around. Now, he's handling pretty well this time around. And, of course, glued to the water is Grayson Jones holding on to the inside position. Too close to call yet. A lot of racing to do yet before we can call a winner.
Grayson's big advantage, just as it was in Miami, is at about the 2/3 point of the straightaway. That's where his opposition starts to fly, and he can stay in it. There's Ed now running in 3rd place.
Ed Leffingwell in third, and Jerry Scheit right there in fourth place in the F-36 boat. Here they come down the main straightaway with the sun setting here on the Hydroplane in Dayton, Ohio. A beautiful setting, perfect for racing. A man-made facility here. They dug it out and said, let's go racing on an annual basis, and it's a great spot. Grayson now beginning to string it out a bit as he goes down the back straightaway, Steve. In second place, Einar Glacius in the F-60 boat. Red with black and white checkerboard on it as Grayson comes around the turn.
Grayson Jones makes it tough because his boat handles so well, has good horsepower, and he makes great starts on top of that. It's a tough combination.
Now he's got the overhand, meaning he can push Glacius out towards the shore as much as he wants. He's got him right on his outside hip. And he's got a lot of air under him, too. As a matter of fact, as again Jones comes into that first turn, again, he can push his opponent around now. He has that inside position, almost a rooster tail lead, and really he can shut the door if he wants to now. Glacius dropping back.
I told Grayson Jones after Miami, I think I could drive that boat. It just handles beautifully, and you watch how hard Einar is working on the outside, and he can't catch the national champion right there, Grayson Jones.
When you watch a hydroplane, watch how it bounces around. They all bounce, but many of them, the good ones, stay true and level to the water, no matter how turbulent it is, and that's what this boat does for Grayson Jones. First place in the winner, 6-liter Grayson Jones. Second place, Einar Glacius. Nice racing between those two. Jones and Glacius, Leffingwell, tying in points, but slower in average speed than Glacius, so Einar picks up second place. Let's go down to the pits.
Grayson, you're making it look easy. Your boat runs so smooth. Has it always been that way, or to come out of the box running like this?
Right out of the box like that. Everything was just dialed in perfect.
How about your start? You were apparently right where you wanted to be.
We were a little slow in the start. We were maybe a second off, but, we were pleased with it. We got down there, I think, one of the first boats to the turn.
You told us Einar would be the guy to beat, and he was right there with you.
Yep, Einar ran real strong. He's just had a couple minor problems with his skid fin. I think he's got that straightened out now.
But you got first place money. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And he should be commended, this man, Einar Glacius. By the way, you do it all when you drive these smaller boats, including work with a crane. We'll be right back. This portion of our show is brought to you by V8 Vegetable Juice, a nutritious blend of 8 vegetables that tastes terrific. 2 glasses of V8 contains 90% of the vitamins A and C you need each day. To wrap things up here in Dayton, Ohio, this was our final limited hydroplane broadcast of the 1987 summer season. Steve Montgomery, it's been great to have you aboard.
I appreciate very much the opportunity to work with you. Of course, Steve Reynolds is coming along fine. Hope to have him back with you in '88. And in the meantime, enjoyed it tremendously, Don, except you gave me the deep end.
You said you had hot feet, and I thought this was the best way to cool it off, right here in the old Hydroplane.
Feels pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for 1987 in the limiteds. For Steve Montgomery, Steve Reynolds out there, I know you're watching. I'm Don Poyer. Thanks for joining us. And so long from Dayton, Ohio. Racing fuel provided by Turbo Blue. Ford is the official tow vehicle of the American Powerboat Association. Shoes and sports apparel provided by Diadora USA. The OMC Cobra Series is brought to you by OMC and Ford Power Products.